big on the three E's. You have to empathize, educate, and empower.
Love
Right.
that.
And so when you do that, and you're able to empathize with them, you're gonna ask them questions like, "Hey, how are you?"
Pulling the spot, ooh, watch how I drop. Believe it or not, this isn't all that I got. They told me to rock, that's not how I rock. Now I gotta pop Madonna. Trading my traumas for commas. I gotta do what I promise. Pulling the spot.
Hey guys, welcome to the Flip Lab. Ricky here. Today I'm joined with the fire specialist of Phoenix, Elijah Rubin. His lovely lady Jenny are here to kind of share with you guys their niche in the fire realm, how they've gotten into real estate, and how they've been killing it out here in the Phoenix market for quite a while. You guys were inspirations to me when I first got into real estate. I told this story when Carlos Reyes was here. My only event I ever went to was All In Momentum in 2019, right after I quit my job. And Elijah was the hype man, the host of that event, and man, it was cool. You really got me kind of pumped up that weekend. Nice. So it's cool, just kind of full circle having you guys here.
Come back around, all the way around. Well, first and foremost, thank you, Ricky, for the opportunity to share with the the Flip Lab family here. So appreciate it. And Joe, I know Jenny and I were just saying, like, you know what, we haven't did too many interviews this year, but Ricky, you're a special guy, and how it all came back around from sitting in the crowds to now look at you. You're the one getting interviewed yourself over here. Now you're interviewing top level players. Salute to you, my friend.
What's cool is August 24th, Ramon is having an event at that same hotel that Momentum was at, and I'm speaking with them. So I think one thing I'm going to talk about is like, hey, 2 years ago I was on that side.
Yeah.
Now I'm on this side. Sean Terry's there, so it'll be good times.
That's what I'm talking about. Salute to you, man. Hey,
thanks, man.
You put good work, you put good energy, and good things come back.
That's what I always say. So
thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Tell the people that don't know you guys yet, how'd you guys kind of get into real estate and kind of find the fire niche?
Sure. You want to kick it off for us?
So fire damage is a niche that we both kind of stumbled across. As far as like Elijah really started, he learned about the niche, and I got started working with Elijah doing transaction coordinating 6 years ago. So by that time he was already in the business for 11 years, and he had this whole fire damage niche, and then I came in and I kind of started systemizing it and getting it more organized, and so it is what. So we created, this is our first baby together.
First baby. More coming
that
soon.
We created by really taking Elijah's strategy and then systemizing it, and now we get to share it with our students and investors everywhere. So there wasn't any information about it before, so now there is a process and a system for people to start going after these deals.
Yeah, I've always liked the idea of fire properties just because you think of like going direct to seller and trying to find distressed houses, homeowners. Hey, your house just went on fire. Distress, right? Everyone's probably distressed. But I've always just kind of wondered kind of how else besides, like, obviously they're distressed, everyone's calling them, but what else can you do to kind of get them to sell the house to you and not just kind of go through insurance, talk to realtors? How have you guys kind of found that way to kind of really get through to these sellers?
Sure. So I just backing up just 1 second for you, I'm going to answer that for you.
Yeah.
But for those who don't know me, my name is Elijah I. Rubin. Arizona. I'm 50% Trinidadian, 50% Jewish, 100% entrepreneur. All right. So I've been doing real estate in Arizona since I was 21. So the last 17 years, closed over 800 plus deals. So this is all I do. All right. This is it. All right. And also beginning father, and I am a loving future husband. Now, as far as the fire damage niche, like I said, being in Arizona, we're in the land of the gurus, all right? So AKA the real estate Rutgers Park. And so it's in '08, when the market shifted, it got real hard and we didn't know how to find deals. So I started going after probates. Probates led me to doing city violation deals. Yeah. And I realized these houses on probates and city violations were catching on fire because they sit so long. So I asked some of the OGs out here, like, what do you guys do with these fire damage deals? They're like, Elijah, leave those alone. It's a waste of time. It's out of your model. So I'm like, if you guys are running from them, I'm running towards them. This is the only thing I could do.
Love it,
because I didn't want to go and work a regular job. So I did it for a couple years. After a couple years, realized that no one goes after these. And then I figured out you can make multiple checks on these deals. We can make up to 3 checks on one deal. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. I can make more money with less competition done deal. All right. So that's how we kind of stumbled into this niche. I wasn't trying to be an innovator. I wasn't trying to find a one. It just, kind of how laws of attraction happen for it. Right. Now, to answer your specific question, what can you do, or what do we do to separate ourselves? What do our students do to separate ourselves from other investors who may go after these fire damage deals? One thing we really preach to a lot of our students is the trusted advisor approach. The trusted advisor approach. Because a lot of people, you get on a call with the seller. Hey, so all right, so tell me about the house. Or tell me about the mortgage. Do you have a mortgage? What do you want to do with the house? What's the least you take? Would you take any less? That doesn't fly here. We're really big on the 3 E's. You have to empathize, educate, and empower. Right? Okay. And so when you do that, and you're able to empathize with them, you're gonna ask them questions like, "Hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? Did you lose any important documents? Do you need to see a trauma support counselor?" All right, and then because these people aren't ready to start talking and having the conversation about what the neighbor's house sold for, they're shell shocked. They don't know what to do. All right, and then you want to educate them. All right, and if you educate them, we'll let them know, hey, 80% of the time you're only getting 80% of the money, and most people don't know that, right? Yeah. And what's the 30? What's the 30, Jenny?
We want to empower them to make the best decisions. So instead of us only wanting to do the wholesale, get the property as low as possible, which most of the time is the best decision. We want to empower them, therefore they feel like they have multiple options. So we let them know, hey, we can list it, or we can try to repair it. This is what the cost would be. And so that's why we educate our students to really understand how to analyze these deals, to get the best, really understand what it's going to take to go through the 9 months of, rehabbing it, but rebuilding it. Because there is so much more to it. I mean, when you think about these properties, there's about a pool of water for a real big, a fire damage property. Like a pool of water is being, thrown in there from the firefighters, and we don't really think of that. And it's not just the burned part; it's also a lot of the water damage and a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we really have to make sure we're educating the seller and letting them know, do you really know what it's going to take to repair it and how long it's going to take holding time 9 months or so for all the permits,
certificate occupancy.
So you guys come right in as hey, I'm calling you because your house caught on fire. You know how some people will kind of play the probate, oh, I'm just calling you.
Me and my wife are walking in the neighborhood.
Someone died, and they're like, hey, I see what you're doing. So here you're going straight to, hey, I know, your house burnt down or whatever, you're having issues with this. This is what we specialize in,
exactly.
And we're trying to help you, not necessarily buy it, but just
correct.
Give you all your options.
That's the right vibe right there. You got it. Because I want to come from the position of, hey, we're a national asset protection company, and we help families save the largest asset, which is a house. And we want to see if you want to keep the house. And if you want to keep the house, here's resources, here's options. Because if I take that approach, and now I'm helping to here's a trauma support counselor, here's how you get your birth certificate, here's other options for you to stay at.
Right.
Well, it takes about 3 to 7 days for them to kind of walk past to deal with everything that's happening. And now when they start dealing with the property, who are they going to come to? Now they're going to talk to me. Yeah. They want to rebuild it? Great.
Trusted advisor.
You want to be that trusted advisor at any turns.
It sounds like we're doing a lot, but really it's a simple script. It's a simple process that, it's not going to come off scripted, but it is just checking off the list. Do you have somewhere to live? That's important, because if you're talking about to someone and you're trying to buy their house, which is what we notice other investors are doing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get them, how much do you want for the house? This person literally having a fire happen is one of the worst catastrophes
I could only
anyone
imagine.
can experience.
Yeah.
And they're displaced most of the time. You can't even live in there. So, a lot versus what's the other one? Obviously probate, someone passing away, but even that's inevitable. We all could, some people do plan for it, some people do have wills in place.
It's coming.
Some people know it's coming.
Right,
you don't know what's happening.
Right, there's wills set in place for one day this is going to happen.
Mom's 90 years old.
Right.
I wake up, my house catches on fire. I didn't know that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a big.
And most people don't know how to navigate that process, right? And what we've seen is we've dealt with sellers like any other really distressed property you're dealing with many times, right? Maybe sellers aren't so financially savvy because they're so distressed, meaning they weren't paying their bills or something's happening, or maybe they're going through a divorce, which means, again, there's just, it can be tough on
a lot of times their whole life is kind of chaos, a little distressed over a lot of different things, and a house also. But this is a direct, hey, life was great, and then
Boom.
Yeah.
Happen.
And so what we see is we've worked with people who are affluent or really financial savvy who many times they didn't get the policy, the insurance policy on there right, or something happened, and so there's a lot of shame that comes with it. Also, having just like think about us as investors. Sometimes we're scared to analyze a fire damage property.
sure, yeah,
So could you imagine a seller who maybe they are financially savvy, or usually they have a realtor they call, and they don't even know how to
Right.
protect themselves.
that realtor probably doesn't really know how
They
to
don't-
navigate.
they
I mean,
don't know.
me as an investor, I want to learn from you guys because I think most investors, even doing what we do, acquisitions and stuff, don't even really know the 3 ways to
You get a check on these deals.
get a check.
Yeah. So then that's like what's in it for us. If we could really dress that up and make it really like shiny and make, like the shiny object.
Right.
But I guess right now the biggest thing is to really understand the psychology of the seller and to understand the fact that they are really distressed, like you're saying, and most investors are approaching them just completely wrong because the way there's a process happening in the back end that if we're not, and as investors aren't aware of, then now we are just we're
In the same
providing
generic
the wrong
wholesalers.
solution. We're providing the wrong solution.
Right.
Having the wrong conversation.
We're having the wrong conversation.
Yeah. So like for instance, our team, one way we look for deals is we follow like the fire departments and stuff in our markets that we buy in online, and then we'll see, hey, house caught on fire. We'll mail those people. How should that call typically go? Let's say if they call the mailer back.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, you want to take, like I said, the trusted advisor approach.
Right.
Think of the 3 E's: empathize, educate, and empower. All right, and you could come from the position of, hey, we help families save their largest asset. And so, are you looking to keep the property or sell? Looking to keep it? Great. Here's some restoration company. Here's a couple.
And how would you say like that part? Because why are we helping them save it? The reason we say that is because if they don't do something with it, what's going to happen? They're going to get liens. They're going to get city violations. They're going to do that. So it's in a way you have to put that on them, or else when you're in that state, it's so much easier to put it off.
Right, avoid it. Because most people have horrible coping mechanisms, even worse, financial literacy. So by me coming from a position that they probably received other these mailers, hey, we buy your house, so tell me about the house. How fast do you want to sell?
Right.
Because I'm taking an alternate approach to it. I'm
something with the
disrupting. I'm
property,
disrupting
yeah.
how they're thinking about, like, okay, so do I want to keep it? Oh, you have research for it. So now, who are they going to talk to? They're going to talk to the responsible cousin, maybe the spouse, and Ray, their friend, about the property. And that's not who you want to talk to about the property. And so that's why we want to come into position. Hey, what do you want to do with the house? I have resources for you. If you do want to sell the house, we could explore that as well. Let's talk about your insurance. Do you feel like you got all the insurance? Are you staying in a place because in your policy, it states that you have to live in like living conditions. So if you're in a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, they can't put you up in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. A lot of homeowners don't know this. They'll just do whatever they're told to do.
Right.
And so by us advocating for them and we're empowering them with small things first, it builds trust with us. Like, all right, now.
That's the biggest hurdle you're going to experience.
When you get into then possible prices and stuff like that, it's like you didn't even say you wanted to buy the house. You're just like, hey, these are your best options, and you kind of let them eventually come to you as like you are the best option, but they're making that decision. You're not necessarily convincing them.
Right.
That
It's such a different dynamic. It's one of the best good feeling closes you could do. All right. I mean, because
are your sellers always very happy with you?
I'm extremely happy. We get testimonials. We get we actually part of the deal is I get a testimonial out of this.
Okay.
And because what's going to happen, not only want to help you with the property, all right, which any of one of us could do, then I'm going to help you get more insurance money than you thought was possible. That's a new dichotomy. They ain't not even thinking. They're like, what? I get more insurance money. No, I pay 100% of my insurance premiums each month. I'm getting all my money. Like, I know you think you are, but 80% of the time you only get 80% of the money.
Yeah.
And the cool part is that you only, basically what happens is we're going to do a forensic audit of their insurance policy with our public adjuster. So we're going to review the papers.
Okay.
And if we don't find an extra penny, they don't pay us a dime for our time. So it's a no cost, no loss proposition for them.
Who wouldn't want to take that?
However, if we do find some additional money, this is how it works. A homeowner keeps 100% of any insurance money they're originally offered. Then they also keep 50% of any new money we happen to find them. And then you and your public adjuster or your policy expert gets to split the other 50%. So therefore, they're making. You know how good it feels to find extra
It's
$20
just a
in your pocket.
Yeah, it's like a win-win for everyone too. Like,
Ultimate win-win.
I'm sure they don't mind that you're
they don't-
making 50%.
You'll get paid out your profits.
Right.
And so if I don't get you any results, you don't owe me anything. And if I do find something, we're not talking about extra what 3,000, 5,000. We're talking extra 20, 50, 100. Even one day we got an additional 200,000 more.
You got 200K more
Than what
just
they were
from
offered.
just from insurance. Why do you is it just lack of education and insurance companies just kind of trying to get away with the minimum?
You're asking why is this?
Yeah. Why is this such a problem? I would think like if your house burns down, it's like shouldn't be 80% of people aren't getting all the money that they should be receiving.
It's capitalistic society. You know, we're not. Insurance companies aren't just giving the money away.
Right. Yeah.
Have you ever? I used to work at a body shop, at a car body shop. It was one of my first like jobs, right, as a receptionist. And I used to have people coming in. So people get a car accident, they get a quote for their amount. I would create an estimate for them. Then the insurance company would try to give me their estimate, and I'd be like, no, it's more money, and try to get them to. So their whole job is to pay you the least as possible. The insurance adjusters, they're working for the insurance.
Yeah.
Representing, right? They're trying to help that person who's putting that claim, but at the end of the day, they're not trying to pay more than they can. They want to keep their costs as low as possible.
You have to look at it from this position, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking you guys back, all right? I'm taking you guys back a little bit, back to '08. All right, '08, remember AIG? They're too big to fail. The largest insurance company in the world, they're too big to fail. They know this, and so the government will always bail them out. So once you understand the insurance company fiduciary responsibility isn't to the policyholder, as you would assume, like you're asking. Like, it's to their shareholders. It's their stockholders. So
Interesting. I never really looked at it that way.
And only 1 in 5 family members even disputes insurance policy. Most people don't even know how to read it, let alone dispute it. So they know that, hey, you know what? If one person disputes it, pay that out. We'll make it up on the other 4 suckers who won't even ask. So by us being able to bring this to the table, and they spend a lot of money to keep the public in, I don't want to say dumb them down, but just keep them away from asking questions. Just do whatever we tell you to do.
Well, you hear the commercials, right? We're on your side. And
in good hands. Like, hold on a second. Who hand is on my profit?
right. I remember, like, I got in a car accident once, and my golf clubs were in the trunk, and I got rear-ended, and a couple of my, like, irons bent. And this guy, the insurance adjuster, gave me the hardest time. He's like, I need proof that they're actually bent. I was like, you want me to send you a picture of a 9-iron? And, like, are you going to see if the shaft is, like, slightly bent? I'm like, do you even know what a golf club looks like? But it was just, like, it was a very difficult process. But
right.
it kind of makes sense. Now, do you have to know the details of all this paperwork and stuff, or do you just connect with trusted
break that
advisor
down, because I know a lot of people think like you have to become a public adjuster.
Right.
Let me know how simple this is.
Well, the big thing is once you understand what's happening to that seller. In this case, it's first it's a fire damage victim, the
survivor.
homeowner, the policy owner, survivor. So what's happening is fire happens. We call 911. Firefighters come out. That's where we get number one the information. Is through that. That's really the only real source that you can really get is when
notifications.
The dispatch. When they're
right.
calling. So that happens. Okay, cool. They put the fire out. The homeowner is displaced. Hopefully there's no injuries or no pets or people were hurt. That's a whole different dilemma we have to have sensitivity around. Then there's also then what happens is the next couple of days, Elijah calls it the
grand heist. The grand heist is happening.
Essentially what happens is there's certain things that need to happen with the fire doors. Number one, if it's like they need to fence it. So what happens is fencing companies are called from the fire. Many of the departments, they have like their list of trusted people who they call. They board up the property and they fence it so no one can get in.
Yeah, the yellow tape kind of stay away.
Right. So what's happening is that's being billed to the property.
So they're already billing their insurance money and the homeowner doesn't know.
You don't even know. So this is all happening.
Right.
Then you have...
I know they're not charging cheap or any of that.
Right. Oh, they're hitting their top premium. It's insurance money.
Right.
All right.
It's insurance money, right? So that's happening. Then also... So what we're talking about when it comes to that public adjuster, this is $1 billion industry that's already happening. There's public adjusters. They work, to represent the policyholders and they're working against the insurance companies. That's already happening. They're also showing up at the door. But again, they don't have the experience we do of how to talk to sellers, and they don't have the real estate part either.
Yeah.
So that's already happening.
They're just kind of calculators coming in there and like, here you go.
That's what the numbers are.
So that's why you want to just know that this is happening. Fencing companies are going out.
Board of
companies and public adjusters. All these people are already going out. And you might have some investors who walk by it or see it also coming out. So those are like the main things that are happening. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep all that basically in-house. And I mean, maybe not so much the fencing and the board up. We have relationships with those. But for the most part, that's usually covered. But we let them know that that's happening. Did you know?
It gives you credibility too when it does happen. They're like, oh, Jenny,
did you sign off on that
told
bill
me
for the fencing?
This was going to happen, and then it did. Wow, they know what they're doing.
And we empathize with them. We say we understand what's happening. People they're boarding up your house. You don't even know where none of this is coming at. And then remember, not everyone has insurance on their properties.
Yeah, that's true.
So then now you have a bill, plus the house caught fire, you didn't insure it. That's like a real urgency, right? A lot of motivation to sell there. But when you understand that, then that's when the public adjusters come in. We know that they're already going to be going after, so why don't we pair them up with our guys who we trust and we know are, we work with some of the best public adjusters, who handle $1 million claims. They handle big contracts. But they can, if there's more than 30 or 40,000 worth of damage, so that's like a couple rooms of that were burned in the house. Then for the most part, they can open up that claim, and there might be some additional money there.
So they're like local adjusters too. Like let's say I don't have a connection in New Jersey. How would I potentially make a connection with someone like an adjuster that then I could start utilizing in these situations?
Well, there's a couple things. One, there's you can always ask for referrals. Restoration guys, board of guys, they have a lot of referrals they know. And then there's a National Association of Public Adjusters site I could give you, NAPIA.
Okay.
And .com, and you can pull it up, find somebody. Hey, I got property. They're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on PPC just to get in front of these people.
So they love a call from you.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, I get people all the time. This could be a win-win for both of us.
Exactly.
And they do a lot of little legwork, and then you guys split profits on the back.
And that's exactly how we do it. Just to answer your question, you don't need to be a public adjuster. You don't need to learn all the paperwork. That's not your job. You're going to get with an adjuster. You got to let them know, hey, I specialize in fire damage properties. I buy these. And sometimes I have a client, they want to work their insurance claim, and I want to make you my trusted relationship. We have them sign a JV agreement for 50% of the proceeds because I don't want any convenient amnesia or something to pay out the check. All right, I'm half Jewish.
Hey, thanks for that, but you know what?
Did I say that? Did I say 50 or 15?
Our house just burnt down. I can't give you 50% of that.
Yeah, so I make sure that the public adjuster signs that agreement with me, and then I have the seller or the homeowner signs their retainer agreement, agreeing to give 50% of any new money we sign. So think about it on a public adjuster side. He doesn't have to pay for marketing. He doesn't have to try to find them. By the time I bring my client, he already gets all the documents. They already signed his retainer agreement. So this is an easy deal for him and just for him to split it. And the best part about it, they're going to do that forensic audit. They're just going to review the paperwork. And like Jennifer is saying, if it's not more than $30,000, they're not going to work it. It's not worth it because $15,000 got to go to them, $15,000 to him, and then we got split it. It's not enough for him. These guys make really good money. All right, so it has to be at least worth over $30,000, and then now you're able to educate your homeowner, you're able to empower them, and you're able to empathize and let them know, hey, these are the numbers, these are the factors. What do you want to have happen? And then because you have all the relationship and resources, we like to put it in phases for them. Like phase 1, all right, we determine what you want to do. Phase 2, we determine what your real options are. Phase 3, I'm going to look at your timeline, and phase 4, I'm going to step in and I'll be your point guard. You're the head coach. I'm the point guard, and I'm going to run all the plays for you.
Yeah. And I feel like, if we're both trying to get the same house, and I'm just coming in like, hey, I give you $40K cash, and maybe that's your cash number too, but then you add on top, hey, we could potentially get you this insurance money as well, right? And then there's one more check?
Yeah, so
what's the last check?
So there's 3 checks, right? So you got the first check wholesale.
Yeah.
Buy low, sell, you've been crushing that for years.
Which again, we could go into that whole thing because most people don't get to the insurance portion. But you get these properties pennies at the dollar.
Yeah,
sellers doing 6 figures in a property that again, you would never think you would be able to get even that much. So
yeah, one person recently, an investor locally out here, got a fire damage. I was talk with them. Property's worth like maybe 250, 300 max in this market, not in a regular market. They got it for 10,000.
Wow.
You're never gonna buy a property in this market
Not
for
even
10,000
land
unless
value.
it's like
Not
this.
even land.
Right? Not even land. Not even a
People
lot.
send me lots in like
Apache,
Maryville.
Apache
for,
Junction.
like,
You know,
200K.
and he was able to sell for
Exactly. Looking is
$150,000.
$100.
Being able to sell for being able to make $140,000 on a fire damage deal that everybody else is passing on.
Solving problems. The
And that's
bigger
without the
problems
insurance money.
sometimes. Yeah.
So you don't. So the
that's
insurance
why I
money
would
is
say,
extra.
Yeah, and that's why I would say if you're getting started, just focus on just getting a wholesale deal. Like, yeah, ask about the insurance. You could get a lot of these free trainings in our free Facebook group about how to ask about the insurance. We have 15 questions to ask every fire damage seller. So that kind of makes it really simple versus having a script. We just give you 15 questions, which is basically part of the script, right?
Right. Yeah. It's opening it up. I'm sure it's separating you guys from all the other wholesalers.
Sure.
All the wholesalers are calling them anyway. So
Yeah.
you guys are the advisors. The wholesalers are the vultures.
Right. That's how you separate yourself.
Yeah,
for
but you're
sure.
probably,
Yeah.
you're still getting at a price that the wholesalers would have got it for, but then making more money on the insurance.
Right.
They're
You know,
making more money as well as the,
Right.
the home sellers.
because you're making them more money.
And even
so,
just
right?
talking about the insurance, again, separates you. Because they didn't even know, right? And so many times if they do want to wholesale and it's not a good fit for insurance, because only about probably, 25% of people are going to be a good fit. Only about 50% of them are even going to have the ability to do it, and then only 25% of them are going to want to even move forward with it. So it's more like a tool in your back pocket.
Right.
It's an opportunity. The more you go after them, get level 1 first to start getting the wholesale deals going. Then you could start the level 2, which is the insurance check, and then the third one
Right.
is again
The
extra
replacement
layer
check.
of it. But we like to just educate people. We don't like to hold anything back.
Sure.
So the third check
is a replacement check. So we talked about this check. First check, wholesale, buy low, sell low. You know about that. Second check, that second check is called a supplemental claim. So you keep 50% of anything you guys split. Then the third check is replacement check. All right. So the homeowner, regardless if they want to buy a new house to live in, all right, or if they need to buy a new house to get cash flow coming in, they need to find a new house. Right. You got the cash for them. You got them a bag for buying the property. You got them a bigger bag for getting insurance money. Why should they go to another realtor, wholesale investor to find a new property? You know when they close an escrow, and it's cash. So I can have 5 other wholesaler properties in the emails on the day we close escrow, and they say, I'll take that one. Boom. Now you just helped them 3 ways, and you just got paid in 3 ways.
If you could create, I say that the more win-win situations you create in this business, the more money that's going to go in your pocket, which is that's like what we all are really caring about at the end of the day. But you're also helping the seller's problems too. So it's like you just can't beat that.
As I that, adding more value. The more value you add, the more profits you make. And one thing my mentor taught me many, many years ago, you can't control how many fish you catch, but you can control how many fish hooks you put out and what fishing ponds you choose to fish in.
Love that. I love you guys have found your niche and you guys are just, continuing to accelerate in it and teaching other people. I've learned a bunch too. I'm going to implement kind of with my team. So if people want to learn more about you guys, learn about this fire damage stuff, other things you guys have coming up, where should they find you?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have a free Facebook group right now called Fire Damage Profits, and we do usually weekly trainings. We give away a lot of the beginner level, just get started, how to find the deals, how to the questions, all that extra stuff, so that way you can at least get started. What we want to do is empower the community to really understand the niche and then to be able to get your first deal done. And then after that, you can go to Fire Damage Profits /accelerate and book a call with us if you're looking to really take not just the fire damage niche, but to start building your business in a really sustainable way that's niche focused.
Right. Love it.
Yeah, and what we really realized that by going to Fire Damage Profits Facebook group, you're going to see, although yes, we specialize in fire damage, we really teach investors how to become a sophisticated investors. It's an alternative from scaling up. It gives you a chance to niche down. When the market shifts, not everybody's going to be able to spend their way out of it. So thinking about alternative niches that people aren't doing, a recession proof that you can make multiple checks on, makes it really big. Last thing I want to mention is,
find you?
Oh yeah, so where to find me? You can find me at Elijah I Rubin. No, not I anyway. Elijah Rubin, Elijah.Rubin on Instagram, Elijah Rubin on Facebook. Fire Damage Profits. Last thing I want to mention, the Closer Olympics is coming later this year. Closer Olympics last year is a humongous success. We have new judges. We have ladies be involved. Make sure you guys stay on the lookout for Closer Olympics. You guys absolutely love it.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I saw it last year. It was awesome. I'm definitely going to tune in this year too. Well, awesome having you guys on the show. Guys, if you guys need to learn more about fire damage, they brought the fire today. Follow these guys. So great having you guys on.
Appreciate the
Thanks for having
opportunities.
us.
Each one teach one, each one reach one. God away today. Be a blessing with them. Salute, y'all.
Bye. Ooh.